Hi, my name is Philip Long, and I've been a member here at Grace for about 3 to 4 years. And I currently work at McDowell Hospital. I'm manager of volunteer services and pastoral care. And today I'm just going to kind of give you a Reader's Digest version of my testimony. This is the first time I've really shared this in public with anyone. But I just hope that and pray that maybe one person could find some common ground in this and that it might help you today. After my junior year in high school, I was called into ministry primarily in the area of music and education. And then after college, I had an opportunity to apply with the International Mission Board, and I was appointed to Japan, where I served in missions for 2 years as a missionary journeyman. And it was at that time in my life that God called me into full-time missions. And I really thought that I would be living even today in Japan or another country in the Far East probably. Well, after those years of service, I came home and went to Southwestern Seminary. And there I met my wife. We fell in love and got married, and she had all the right answers, like, oh yeah, I feel called into ministry, I feel called into foreign missions. So I just had my life planned in front of me, and we went to our first position in Portsmouth, Virginia after seminary. And after filling my application out, getting ready to mail it in, my wife let me know that she was not going to go overseas, that she was not called into missions. And so, for the first time in my life, I realized, wow, God, I've got to think about what is plan B here, because I'm obviously not going to be serving overseas like I really thought I would be. So we moved to another state, accepted another ministry position a few years later, and it was that time that, while my kids were young, my wife chose to do some things that were not congruent with a marriage vow. I think you know what I mean. And so several years, so I decided, if I'm talking the talk, I've got to walk the walk. So I stayed and I committed to that relationship, and we went through years of counseling. It was very difficult. I didn't know if I was going to make it or not, to be quite honest, because of all the situations that it involved. But we worked on it, and then a few years ago, choices were made again. And so finally I had to make the super hard decision to separate from my wife and divorced. And so now that's really kind of my testimony. Would be, I can't believe where I'm at actually now in this point in my life, because I thought I'd be doing something else. But God has other plans for me. And one thing I've really learned is to not live in bitterness, but to try to live in hope. And it's taken me just the last couple of years to be able to get there, especially now after the divorce, to realize that this whole single world is a whole different thing to me. Not being in full-time ministry is a different thing to me. But I absolutely love what I do. I love working at the hospital. God, I believe, gives me an opportunity to minister during the week, probably in ways that I never, ever did working even in full-time ministry. So I'm grateful for where I am. I have no regrets about what has happened to me, even as painful as it may be. But I just trust God. And so if any of you out there are kind of in the same boat, or you're thinking, wow, I can't believe at my age this is what I'm doing, I never thought I'd be here. We just have to trust God and know that this is where He put us, and He put us here for a reason. I love the song that talks about in the midst of all the storm, that God is totally in control, and that's where I want to be, and I hope that's where you want to be too.